It was an unusually chilly night in May, and even the crickets seemed to huddle together for warmth under the porch swing where Tommy and Mary slept. But Tommy couldn't sleep. He lay awake listening to the hoot of an owl and the distant rumble of thunder. Then he heard something else, the clatter of horses' hooves on the wooden bridge over Troublesome Creek, followed by the unmistakable sound of a lone rider urging his horse forward with a whip. Tommy sat up. It was well past dark, and folks didn't usually travel after dark, especially not through the holler. With a floorboard, Tommy crept to the window and peered out into the darkness. A tall man astride a big bay horse was pulling up outside. The horse was snorting and stamping, and its sides heaved as if it were in pain. The man himself wore a Stetson pulled low over his face. He came up the walk and put a hand out to steady himself, then rang the bell above the door. Mary stirred beside him, but Tommy had already flung open the door. "Can I help you?" he asked suspiciously. The man tipped his hat. His face was grim, his eyes hard and sharp like chips of flint. "Evening," he said, his voice a gravelly monotone. "Name's Cole Turner. I saw your light and thought I'd ask if I could tie up here for the night. My horse is hurt." Tommy hesitated. His mother had always told him not to take in strangers, yet there was something about the man's haggard face and the pleading look in his horse's eye that made him relent. "All right," he said. "You can tie up your horse in the stable. Come on in out of the rain." The man thanked him and did as he was told. Then he came back to the house, shook the rain off his hat, and hung it on the wall next to the door. Only then did Tommy notice the mud caked on his boots, the scratches marring his face, the bulge of a pistol handle under his coat, and the way he kept glancing toward the front window as if expecting someone to jump through it and grab him by the throat. "So," Tommy said awkwardly, trying to think of something to break the silence, "what part of these parts are you from?" "Don't rightly know," the stranger said, running a hand through his unkempt hair. "Been wandering around for a long time." A long time, Tommy thought. So had his pa before he met his ma and settled down on this little farm. Had the same restless look in his eye, too. Was the stranger like his pa? Restless, never staying put, always looking over his shoulder, always ready to run. As if sensing what Tommy was thinking, the stranger said, "I ain't no ordinary man, son. I'm wanted, dead or alive." He looked at Tommy then, his eyes hard as stone. "And if any of the fellas tracking me see me stay in one place 2 nights, they'll be here by sunrise to end it all." That explained the pistol and the glances toward the window and the urgency with which he'd come up the walk and knocked on the door. He was afraid of being ambushed, but who would want a man like that, dead or alive? What had he done? Tommy poured him a glass of water, which he drank in long, greedy gulps, then set it down again. He looked so tired, so defeated. Tommy felt a surge of sympathy for him. Here was a man hunted and harassed, unable to rest, unable to sleep, unable to go anywhere without the danger of death hanging over him like a black cloud. "Why don't you go upstairs, Mr. Turner," Tommy said, "and sleep in my room? I'll take the couch. You can leave in the morning before they get here." The stranger's eyebrows shot up in surprise. "Are you sure, son? That's mighty kind of you, but I wouldn't want to put you out." "It's all right, really," Tommy insisted. "I don't mind." He led the way upstairs, then hurried back down when he heard the stranger calling for him. "Say, son, I wouldn't rightly know how to pay you for your kindness. Money, I got none. But anything you want, anything at all, just name it and it's yours." "I don't want anything," Tommy said, meaning it. But when he turned to go back upstairs, the stranger grabbed his arm. "You sure? Because this here's a first for me. Usually I like to sweeten the pot a little." "I just want to sleep," Tommy said, and the stranger let him go. They both slept fitfully. Now and then the stranger would sit bolt upright in bed, his eyes wide, listening intently. Then he would sag back down, slumping against the headboard, as if utterly defeated. In the morning, He got up long before sunrise and slipped out of bed. He found Tommy sitting on the edge of his own bed, staring at the floor. "You weren't able to sleep much, were you?" Tommy asked him. The stranger shook his head. "You slept pretty good, though, son. Must have been all that fresh hay in the loft. Best bed I've had in years." He paused, then added, "Just like my pa used to make when he brought me up to visit him in the city." The sadness in the stranger's voice tugged at Tommy's heart. This man was a fugitive, yes, but he was also a son who missed his father, a man who missed his bed. "It's a nice bed," Tommy agreed. "Ma always says it smells like sunshine and hay." The stranger smiled then, and it was the first time Tommy had seen any real emotion cross his hard, weathered face. "Your mama sounds like a fine woman. Tell her that for me, will you? Also, tell her I said thank you for taking me in last night. I needed it more than you know." "I will tell her," Tommy promised. "But why don't you stay a while longer? She'll be up soon and she'll want to feed you breakfast. Then maybe we can go down to the creek and fish. It's good fishing this time of year." The stranger sighed. "Thanks kindly, son, but I can't stay. I got to keep moving. If I stop, they might catch up with me. Got to keep ahead of them. Always keep ahead of them." He started for the door. "Oh, but your horse is still out there in the stable," Tommy said. "It's hurt." "Is it?" The stranger looked surprised. "Guess I never heard him squealing this morning. Guess I was too busy stewing over what a sorry, sorry son of a gun I am." Tommy ran to the window and looked out. Sure enough, the horse was gone. He went back to the door and hurried downstairs. The stranger was already there, his Stetson pulled low, hiding his face. "What happened to him?" Tommy asked anxiously. "Gone," the stranger whispered. "Vanished. It's like he was never here at all." Tommy stared at him, confused, then looked out the window. There on the ground beside the hitching rail was a pile of hay. A big pile of hay. And beside that, a lump about the size and shape of a horse. Is he dead?" Tommy asked, his voice barely a whisper. The stranger ran a hand over his face, his shoulders slumped with defeat. "Seems that way. I reckon we best be moseying along now. Thanks for everything, son. You were real kind to take me in last night, and I'll never forget it." He walked away without another word, his boots crunching on the gravel drive. As he reached the road, he turned and tipped his hat. "Goodbye, son," he said. "Goodbye." And just like that, he was gone, vanished like the horse in the stable, leaving behind the smell of fresh hay and a mystery that would linger long after the sun rose and the crickets began their incessant chirping.